Hey, thanks for clicking on this video. My name is Zaji, and today I want to talk to you a little bit about some sewing things. I've got something on my mind, and it rhymes with Mardigan? I'm talking about this cardigan. And I am going to be sharing with you all of the details about how I made this and how I made it for under $20. So if that interests you, then I encourage you to subscribe and continue watching. So this cardigan is something that I've been thinking about making for a really long time. I bought this pattern when it came out in 2018, and I don't know why it's taken me this long to actually make it, but I have finally made one, and it's everything that I thought it was going to be. This version I made with Blizzard fleece, which I like because it doesn't really have a right or wrong side. It looks the same fuzzy on both sides, and I like that because you see both sides of the fabric, and I didn't want there to be a clear difference on a right and wrong side. So I felt like that was going to be the best suited for this pattern. I used this beautiful plaid, and I think it's just such a great shade. If you saw my November plans, you saw that I'd already had this pattern cut out, and so you probably have already seen this plaid, but I'll be putting pictures up so you can see the full length of this cardigan when as I'm talking here. So I made version D, and so that is the curved hem shorter version of this cardigan. I did put the pockets in, and I also did the split hem or the split sleeve hem situation as well, and I love how it turned out. I really am loving split hems. I don't know what it is, but I am loving split hems right now, and I have been putting them on a lot of things. If you saw my video talking about Simplicity 9185, I also made another top that had a split hem in it as well. So I'm loving that design feature, and I'm happy that this also has that feature. So I cut a size 12. I typically do cut size 12 in most Simplicity patterns. That seems to be where my sizing kind of lies with them. I didn't make any modifications to this pattern just because I figured with it being a cardigan, it just didn't have a lot of shaping or a lot of things that I would need to really worry about, and I really like where this cardigan hits on my body, so I didn't make any modifications. I did slightly modify the sleeve only because I originally cut the sleeve for version A, how it has kind of that rolled back long cuff, and I decided against it just because to me it just felt a little bit too roby, and I wasn't a huge fan of that. So I didn't do those sleeves. I ended up cutting them up, and I cut them just a little bit shorter than I think originally D is designed to hit. I made mine just, I'm calling it bracelet length. Oh God, do not set everything on fire, Zaji. Jeez. I don't know how to show that. You'll see it in the photos. I don't even know why I'm trying to do that right now. But, yeah, I like where the sleeves hit on me. I like if I have like a sweater that has a longer cuff that you'll kind of see that peeking out, and I think that looks just a little bit chic. I don't know. I don't know why that's my thing this year. I just feel like it is, but I like the length that I cut these to, and I did actually put on the cardigan and cut them to be this length with the seam allowance or with the hem allowance included. So I did make a couple of changes to the construction of this pattern, and I want to get into those things now. So I'm not sure if it recommends a stretch stitch, but I didn't use a stretch stitch because I don't feel it's necessary. This garment could also be made with woven fabric, so I know that it doesn't need to stretch, so I didn't use a stretch stitch. My serger is also in the hospital, so I didn't finish any of the seams or hem allowances, or I did that backwards, seam allowances or hems with my serger, which is something that I usually would do, but because this is fleece, it's not going to unravel or anything like that. So I chose to top stitch my seam allowances and cut them really close. So on my shoulders, I opened the seam up flat and I top stitched on either side. And then on the sleeves, I just pressed the seam allowance in towards the bodice and I top stitched around the armhole. And for the side seams, I pressed the seam towards the back and top stitched along that seam line. For the back piece, I chose to do a French seam as well as a French seam on the neck extension, which kind of comes into the collar. And I did that because it recommends you do the a French seam for the neck extension. So it just made sense to do it also for the back. I don't love a French seam with fleece. It looks real bulky to me. I mean, it is finished and the seam is enclosed, so it looks really nice, but it's just a little bulkier than I like, so I ended up nesting those seams in the back, and I put my tag over top of them to cover up where they kind of show. So those were the only finishes that I did for this pattern, and I really like how that makes the garment sit. I feel like it looks a lot cleaner and a lot more structured because you don't have the bulkiness of the fleece, and it just lays perfectly. And I love that. I didn't do a narrow hem for the sleeves. I did just a simple single turn at 5/8 of an inch and seam, and I stitched really close to the end of the hem allowance and just trimmed off any excess if there was any excess for doing the split hem on the sleeves. But I didn't do any hems on the collar or on the bottom of this cardigan because it's fleece and I wanted the ease of working with fleece. I mean, that's one of the best benefits, I feel like. It doesn't ravel or get really gross after a while. I love the way that fleece lays, and honestly, I feel like if I would have hemmed it, that I wouldn't have liked that finish very much. Just because either you would be able to see the hem on either side, and I just didn't love that. I just didn't love that finish. So I didn't do that finish. I just left it, and I was thinking like, oh my gosh, is that me being lazy? And I don't think so. I don't think it's me being lazy. I hope it's not me being lazy. But honestly, I just didn't like the finish. I didn't even try it because I was just like, no, I don't like that. I want it to just be free-flowing and just look like, I don't know. I love it though. I like that I chose not to do that, and if I make this cardigan again, I will not be doing it on that cardigan either. If you have something that is made out of a woven fabric, then by all means, obviously do something to finish the ends of the garment because you don't want it to just completely fall apart and get really nasty. But I don't have to worry about that, so I didn't worry about that. I believe that's everything that I did. Outside of the one modification with the sleeves, which is just more so, not really a modification, but just a preference kind of thing. I believe this cardigan came together in just a couple hours. I'd say maybe 2 hours including the cutting, just because there's only maybe 4 or 5 seams in this whole situation here. And if you choose to not do the top stitching for the seams, then it comes together even faster. So this, I feel like, would be a really great thing to make to give as gifts for birthdays, for Christmas, for Hanukkah, for any time of the year. I think it would make a really great gift, and whoever receives it would be really thankful to receive it, because I know I'd be really thankful to receive one of these. But that's everything for this review. I hope you really enjoyed it. If you're also thinking about making this pattern, please let me know down below, or if you have made it before, let me know down below. Also, if you have any other cardigan patterns or any other warm patterns that you like to wear during the fall and winter months, please let me know those down below too. I'd love to hear as I'm trying to build my winter wardrobe. And yeah, thanks again for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.